It's been a while since we've talked Marilyn Manson on this channel, and even when I did, it was mostly secondhand since I was pretty critical of his biggest YouTube supporter, Colonel Kurtz.
Whether you believe Manson is innocent or not, if you have ever come across this YouTuber, you have to acknowledge that she's propaganda, straight up.
I called her propaganda for Marilyn Manson, she took offense, and she wanted a conversation, which I gotta say, is pretty commendable because, you know, on the internet and on YouTube, a lot of people, when they take offense, they go straight for the jugular, which I guess she kind of did start off insulting me, but after the insult, we had a conversation that kind of turned into a debate, which I probably won, let's be real.
So the final score comes down in favor of Edwin. What does it mean that he won? Thankfully for everyone, it doesn't mean anything.
No, but I do commend her for wanting to sit down and have a conversation, and especially for actually taking down the videos, which I didn't even ask her. She took down the videos that I criticized for basically spreading misinformation. She had 2 videos, and I said, yeah, a lot of this stuff is not actually valid. So even though Colonel Kurtz and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, I'm still gonna give credit where credit is due. With that being said, in regards to the whole Marilyn Manson situation, or Marilyn Manson in all of his situations, because I don't think he can really call it the situation when he's got so many scandals surrounding him, right? So many accusations, so many lawsuits. I don't think he can say that he's completely innocent in one, and I don't think any accuser might be completely innocent either, right? I don't think it's that simple, but he's got a large group of supporters who sometimes seem to treat him as if it is that simple and he is 100% innocent in everything. And it's kind of amusing to witness, especially recently when a large Marilyn Manson support account from Instagram decided to no longer support him. It kind of created some conflict within the pro-Marilyn Manson community. Let's check this out. So Kurtz is gonna summarize this for us through an Instagram live that she posted to her Twitter, since she's the face of Marilyn Manson's internet support. And I do have the video at 1.25x speed, so it's a little faster, so we can get through everything at a timely manner because there's more after this video.
So look, part of me doesn't want to talk about this because I feel like right now there's this small circle of those of us who are really involved in the Manson stuff and track all the accounts and everything. And those are the people I'm talking to. And now that I'm talking about this, it's going to open it up now to a much wider group of people who are going to be like, what? What's going on? Oh my God.
Oh, that's us, guys. That's us. Okay, she opened it up for us. She's aware.
But I just got to address it. So for those of you who follow one particular pro-Marilyn Manson, or up till this point, pro-Marilyn Manson account that just announced a bunch of crazy shit on their page, let me tell you what's basically going on, all right?
Okay.
And I don't have a lot of time. This is just broken. I've got all this shit I'm trying to do right now. I don't have time. So I'm going to cut to the chase. I'm going to drop some information on you. And then tonight I'll do a live stream or something and I'll explain everything. But just so you understand.
Okay, so we don't know who the account is, but we know that they're bad. They stepped out of line.
Understand, all right? Ilma Gore's sister, Bryton, is fucking crazy. And she's been crazy. We've known, a bunch of us have known in the Manson community for a while that she's fucking crazy because she's been harassing a number of us for a long time, privately and publicly. And she's been harassing, as I understand it, Manson and his wife, sending them all kinds of crazy messages for like over a year now.
Over a year? Oh, crazy messages? What? This sounds nuts. We gotta need more details about this. And again, for those of you who might not know, Ilma Gore is one of the people that Marilyn Manson sued, and her sister actually, she sent Marilyn Manson some evidence for his case against Ilma, right? And like, this is without getting into the details because that doesn't even matter for this particular drama. So let's just continue.
A bunch of us have known this. Other major Manson accounts have known this. Marilyn Manson Uncanceled, the Manson cases, but we didn't want to say anything because, for obvious reasons.
So there's all these accounts that have known about this, like these rumblings of this unhinged woman that helped Marilyn Manson for like over a year.
Because Bryton, who is fucking crazy, delusional nuts, and has been harassing a bunch of us, she also was the person who found that hard evidence on that iPad showing that Ilma Gore did all that shady shit.
Bryton Gore? Are you crazy? That's what I'm getting out of this so far. Okay, let's see. And it's wild that they've hated her for over a year, but they just felt like they had to keep it contained, right? Because, well, they have to protect Marilyn Manson. I think this is where I gotta poke a hole, right? Because they love to like attack anybody that goes against Marilyn Manson, but when there's like holes in their own camp, they get nervous and like, no, we have to keep this under wraps. So, you know, let's just observe.
And so a number of us have really been in a box, in a catch-22 with her, as she has been escalating her threats and her behavior and her craziness.
Threats.
Some of you might know that her longtime best friend and supporter, Mel, finally had to disown her and get away from her as well because she got too crazy and she was telling all these lies about Mel and everything. So a bunch of us...
No way. Her own best friend left her? Mel left her? She really said, some of you may know. By the way, who is some of you? How many people? This has got to be the most niche drama. I mean, super interesting that it's got to do with Marilyn Manson, but if you guys have niche dramas like this, send them over. This is super interesting. But what is the escalation? Let's get to it, because it's 2.5 minutes into it. We still don't know what makes Bryton so crazy. So come on.
So a bunch of us have known for a while that Bryton is fucking crazy. But we didn't want to say anything because some of the evidence, the hard evidence, by the way, not just testimony, but hard evidence that was found on an iPad connecting Ilmagore to shady shit, it came through Bryton. And so it was a catch-22. Do we expose the fact that this person is fucking crazy and she's harassing a bunch of us and then cast some doubt on what she said about her sister Ilmagore, or do we stay quiet? But it's escalated to the point where the truth has to come out. And so...
Kurtz, when does the truth have to come out about Ashley Smithline, by the way? Because you keep using her as your star witness, but you know that she's an extremely unreliable narrator.
And so look, there's that Justice for Marilyn Manson account that has been doing good work for years now. They just flipped out and said some crazy shit on their page, and it's...
Okay, we're finally getting some details here. So the pro Marilyn Manson account was named Justice for Marilyn Manson, and they apparently flipped out and went nuts, and they're in cahoots with Bryton Gore, right? So I guess Bryton Gore is just a loose cannon, and Justice for Marilyn Manson is no longer pro Marilyn Manson. No more justice.
And it's because, and I know you guys didn't know this, but they've been talking to Bryton. They become buddy close with Bryton, and they don't seem to have any idea that she's fucking crazy like the rest of us do.
By the way, is it just me, or does Kurtz's video feel a little cultish? Like, she doesn't feel like the rest of us. She didn't get the memo, so we have to oust her out, kick her out. Cult is probably too loaded, but it just feels like you're either in or you're out, and she didn't get the memo, so she's out, and we're just gonna load her with all the negative verbiage, right? She's crazy. I mean, how many times, imagine doing a drinking game to the amount of times that Kurtz says crazy in this video.
And frankly, I think that the person who runs the Justice for Manson page has some psychological issues as well.
Again, the way Kurtz keeps labeling her as crazy and now she has psychological issues, it's giving suppressed person. Sorry, I've been looking into Scientology stuff because Linkin Park.
And that page had a big falling out with the Manson cases, and I didn't take a stand in that falling out because it just seemed like a bunch of drama to me, and I like to stay clear of it. You may be surprised that I like to stay clear of drama, but actually I do, unless I'm reporting on major celebrity events. And so there have been people for a while
I get it. It sucks to be part of the drama, but inevitably it happens to anyone that's reporting on it. I feel you, girl.
Telling me that there was something wrong with the Justice for Manson account, with the people who are running that account, that they have psychological issues. And I have seen some weird behavior, but you know what, y'all? A lot of people in this thing have some screws loose in the head. And
We're
so
all
it's
crazy
whatever,
here.
just keep going ahead, doing my job, doing what...
Is there an implication that even you? I mean, I don't know. Nothing wrong.
What I think is best, and defending Manson from stuff that I know is bullshit. But what has happened is that Justice for Manson account has become buddy with Bryton and does not seem to realize that she is fucking crazy. But that girl is crazy. She has been sending threatening messages now to Manson and his wife for over a year, saying she wanted to take needles and stick them in the eyes of Manson's wife. Paranoid, like almost.
Yo, we need to see these receipts, honestly. I think that sounds pretty bad. Like, why not just release receipts of these messages that Bryton Gore is sending to Marilyn Manson's wife? And look, I'm going to say this a little later and get more into it, right? But the whole fact that there's such close access to Marilyn Manson and his wife, it's a little bit criticizable in my opinion, but we'll get more into it later.
Almost schizophrenic delusions about people following her, people tapping her phones, Manson's tapping her phones, all of this stuff. Now, I understand that the Justice for Manson account, it said something in there about children. What's going on?
It's so interesting, this whole tapping into people's phones, because literally people like I believe Edwin and Ilma were making allegations against Manson that he was hacking into their stuff, and then he ended up making some allegations that he was getting his stuff hacked into by them, and now apparently Bryton Gore also, she's getting hacked into. Everybody's just gotten hacked into.
What's going on? This is no reference to the accusers, the accusations of Manson, underage people, or whatever. All that's been disproven, and it's not even related to that. What's going on is that Bryton has had these delusional paranoid fantasies that Manson and his wife were somehow tracking her children. I don't even want to get into it. It's so crazy right now. But they were somehow, she thought they were somehow tracking her children. So that is what Justice...
I mean, that sounds delusional, and it should be extremely easy to prove. Kurtz, look, you kind of stepped into it. Show us one receipt, you know? Because, hey, we need the evidence, right? You're about
Mr.
that.
Manson is referring to in their shit crazy post that they just put up about how they can no longer defend Manson because there are children involved. Has nothing to do with accusations, has nothing to do with actual children being endangered, it's nothing, it's just a bunch of crazy drama bullshit with a bunch of crazy fucking people, and I'm so tired of all the crazy fucking people in this soup. I just wish he had some like normal people that we could deal with in this.
Kurtz thought that the only crazy people she would have to deal with would be Manson's accusers, but no, girl. Manson supporters can be just the same. Look, and here's the thing. The whole crazy label is, look, a lot of people on the internet, too much time on the internet, doesn't even have to be a crazy person. Just too much time online can do stuff to people.
In this thing. But it's a bunch of craziness. So the Justice for Manson account, I think that they've got some screws loose. I've seen evidence of it. I was trying to be quiet about it. Didn't want to make waves. I'm like, well, we're all on the same side. Whatever. As long as they don't do something crazy and destructive, I won't say anything. Well, they've just done something crazy and destructive. So I guess I'm saying something now. And Bryton Gore is fucking crazy. And I've got tons of crazy messages from her going back for at least a year. Other people do. If we have to, we'll start posting them. Everyone's fallen out with that girl. Even her best friend who was defending her. She's crazy, delusional. And I guess Ilma Gore was right about her sister being nuts, even though it turns out Ilma Gore is also nuts and manipulative, and of course they're twins. So in the twin thing, the apple don't fall far from the other apple, so to speak. If you get my drift. I don't have time to talk about it anymore. I'm busy.
The apple don't fall far from the apple. What?
Gore was right about her sister being nuts, even though it turns out Ilma Gore is also nuts and manipulative, and of course they're twins. So in the twin thing, the apple don't fall far from the other apple, so to speak. If you get my drift. I don't have time to talk about it anymore. I'm busy. I'll do a live stream tonight, but I wanted to get this out. Y'all don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. This is just some inside drama.
Girl, you look worried though. Let's be real. You look worried.
With emotionally, psychologically disturbed people. And look, even a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Bryton was harassing me on my Twitter page when I posted that advertisement for the art show the online art show that I did for Lindsay. Bryton was getting after me with all of her craziness and calling me a sycophant and
like, I'm sorry, the whole fact that Colonel Kurtz dedicated a live stream to showcase Marilyn Manson's wife's art, like, girl, what?
What is up? Thank you for joining us. I'm going to be bringing the panel on in a bit to talk about the work of Lindsay Usich, Warner, Marilyn Manson's wife, and
blah, blah, blah. And if you've been watching Bryton's page, she's been unhinging for a long time. But I know a lot of you weren't aware of it, and we were trying to keep this thing quiet.
I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I found Bryton's page and she has like less than 20 followers, so I'll have to double check that, but like I don't know who's watching her page.
Manson cases, Marilyn Manson uncanceled, some of the other Manson accounts, because we were like, well, there's no need to make this a big thing, but now it's a big thing. And I don't know what's wrong with Justice for Manson, that page, but they've been having issues for a while too. They've got some screws loose as well. So that's the situation. I'll do a live stream tonight. I don't know what time, but I'll do a live stream tonight. I'll talk about it more. It's really sad that it's come to this, but nobody worry. This is just palace intrigue, so to speak. It's just crazy fucking people who apparently think that now that we have won the war, it's time to start stabbing everybody in the back.
We have won the war? What war? Yeah, Manson is on tour and he's releasing new music, but does that mean you won the war? Because I'm pretty sure he had to settle some lawsuits and even pay out some of the accusers, as well as with Evan Rachel Wood, the big one. He had to pay out all her legal fees because his whole case was dismissed. I mean, this is not a pretty headline for him. Marilyn Manson now owes nearly $500,000 to defendants' lawyers after failed claims. Whew, this includes Ilma Gore. Or maybe she means they won the war on the internet. I mean, maybe. There's more negative articles about him, but I guess that's considered traditional media. And there's definitely a lot of YouTube videos that I've seen that are pro Marilyn Manson. So if that's the war you're referring to, okay. Can we just find the comedy in this for a second here? There's a YouTuber that leads a propaganda channel for Marilyn Manson, and she calls herself Colonel Kurtz, and has now declared that she has won the war. I'm gonna have to ask her about her profile picture there. She's a nun. She's a nun. All right, let's get back in the video.
I don't know. But anyway, I love y'all. Keep going. Manson's innocent. This is just crazy fucking bullshit. I don't even like to have to address it. I don't.
Jeez.
But I know that some of you really look up to that Justice for Manson account, And they're like, what's going on? Well, what's going on is we got
Outta
some
here.
crazy fucking people who behind the scenes have been causing drama for a long time, and you didn't know about it, and now you know. All right, bye.
The Manson support group overlords have spoken. Justice for Manson, you're outcasted. The black ball is real in many communities. After tweeting out her video, Kurtz reposted these Instagram stories from Marilyn Manson Uncancelled, and they're quite lengthy, so let's just go through them quick. I hate to write about something that has been going on for a long time in the Manson community that the great majority have no knowledge about, especially something that has been so vile and toxic that it is beyond comprehension, when we all should be primarily celebrating a triumphant comeback for Manson and all who have been truly supporting him. That is one long sentence. One of many sentences. Holy crap. As some of you may know, I contacted Bryton Gore, the sister of Ilma Gore, in October of 2021 when I learned that Ilma was accusing Bryton of suffering from severe mental health issues, which is right after the time she was spreading rumors that Bryton had died. Bro, what a loaded sentence. This is so much lore. I informed her about it, she thanked me, and it would be several months later till we spoke again, which was soon after Manson issued his lawsuit in March 2022 when Bryton came out publicly in support of Manson, providing him with solid evidence of the inner workings of the hoax perpetrated by Ilma and Edwin against Manson. I wonder if they realize how this sounds to the normal person. Like, dude, it's my job to make this consumable for the average viewer, and you're making it hard. Viewers, please keep up with me. When I finally did have a conversation with Bryton, I found her to be very pleasant, positive, and supportive of Manson. I had also become aware of the close friendship Lindsay, Manson's wife, shared with Bryton. Okay, like what a twist, right? Why is Marilyn Manson's wife having a close friendship with Bryton, the sister of one of the women that Marilyn Manson is suing? Like, if I was a lawyer, I'd be saying, objection, I don't want to be the exception. No, that's actually about Risha Kira, not a lawyer. When I first spoke to Bryton, one thing I did was encourage her to write a book. Bro, what? Dude, hey, you should write a book. Okay. Because she had a beyond fascinating story to tell, but she insisted that she would never write about her story and would rather focus on her art and let her art be the medium through which she conveyed all she needed to say. I was impressed by her humble attitude. Some months later, something changed. Dude, looks like the one writing a book is you. What's going on, dude? To make a very long story short, really? Because there's like 5 more slides. But anyways, the Bryton who told me she would never write about her life but only wanted to focus on her art became the Bryton who only wanted to write, and she wrote and wrote and wrote and continues to write basically the same thing in many different ways, and it has literally consumed her life. This is because at some point she felt like she had been wronged by everyone she knew and had called friends, including Lindsay. Suddenly, the whole world was against her and her children, and she wanted to fight back in the name of her children by writing and writing so that, as she says, her children will have an accurate account of what really happened to their mother. What? Okay. Dude, what the Okay, in one of my last conversations I had with Bryton earlier this year, she revealed a lot to me. And some things I supported, but some things I could not support because I knew they were not true. The main thing I could not support is this fabricated tale Bryton came up with, whether as a lie or in a delusional paranoid state, I don't know, where she accused Lindsay of being a spy and manipulating Bryton's very young children to extract information from them about Bryton's sex life. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little kooky. Basically, they're saying that Bryton accused Lindsay of being a spy that manipulated children to extract information from. Okay, alright. Bro, this is where we're gonna need receipts. Bryton did not like that I was shrugging off her accusation. Then she made a public post on her Twitter, X, about it. Though, despite her bitter opposition to Lindsay, she still continued to strongly support Manson, not wanting to fully dismiss her accusation, as is usual with me. Oh, that's good. I decided to investigate the matter by confronting Lindsay with what she was being accused of. Hey Lindsay, are you trying to extract information from Bryton's sex life through her children? Bruh, really? I want to see that receipt as well. But also, why does this pro Marilyn Manson propaganda account have access to Marilyn Manson's wife? Like this is what I'm saying, dude. This is weird. Hold up. So I'm editing this video and I'm realizing how silly I sound when I say that it's weird for a pro Marilyn Manson propaganda account to have access to his wife. Of course they have access to his wife. That's not weird at all. That makes complete sense. I guess I'm just always baffled by it all, you know? The way these accounts are just talking pieces for them and pretend they're not. This is when my suspicions were confirmed. I feel like I'm at a library reading a book. Next page. It appears since around the time Ashley Smithline recanted her accusations against Manson. Oh, right, yeah, real legitimate, come on. If you really like to investigate both sides, you should investigate that one. Don't lie to yourself. Bryton began sending dozens and dozens of messages to both Manson and Lindsay, harassing them in a relentless fashion. Okay. The messages she was sending were mixed. While she would accuse and threaten Lindsay in messages to her, on the opposite end, she was sending love messages to Manson as if she wanted to be his love interest. I've read some of them myself and can confirm that this is true. Dude, so Marilyn Manson is like screenshotting his messages with Bryton and either giving them directly to this Marilyn Manson propaganda Twitter account, or I guess giving them to his wife, who's giving them to this X account. Do you guys see what I see here? I'm just saying, it feels a little silly to pretend that Marilyn Manson hasn't spoken up at all in this entire time when obviously he's doing it through these accounts. Everything they say, it's gotta be Manson approved. Maybe not everything, but you get what I'm saying. As for Bryton's accusations, Lindsay not only assured me they were not true at all, but she sent me text messages between her and Bryton from that time that revealed a completely opposite story to what Bryton was feeding me. So Bryton was trying to extract information from Lindsay's children, even though Lindsay doesn't have children? Huh? She also insisted that though they had been close friends, they had never met and Lindsay never once spoke with Bryton's children. Dude, Lindsay, you might be watching. There's like a 50-50 chance, apparently. Why did you befriend her? You are too involved. I mean, I'm sure you regret it, right? Because what? Having looked at enough of the evidence, I confronted Bryton. I asked her to show me her evidence to support her accusations, and she told me she could not, upon the evidence of her lawyer. I knew she could not afford a lawyer because she said it many times, so I knew she was even lying about that. I then asked her about all the love messages to Manson and the harassment. She told me that she wanted to pretend to be crazy so that they could use her craziness as a pretense to help them in their case when the time came for their trial against her sister Ilma. She said that she believes that if they told the court Bryton had gone crazy, then it would somehow help Manson in his case against Ilma. Of course, it made absolutely no sense. Yeah, we agree on that one. Eventually, after Bryton did not like me asking so many questions, she blocked me on social media. Okay, I'm getting the feeling we might get a part 2, y'all. But things did not end there. The harassment against Manson and Lindsay continued, and I would step in to speak on their behalf. Oh my god, this is so funny. So as not for them to respond to fuel their madness. Bryton continued to think Lindsay was harassing her and still believes it to this day. She even wrote a cease and desist in her own writing without a lawyer, along with a list of demands for them to meet in order for her to be silent and not bother them anymore. Of course, they never signed. Alright guys, just 2 more slides. As for Kelly, from Justice for Marilyn Manson is concerned, as many of you know, she became close friends with Bryton, has interviewed her a few times on her podcast, and has fully supported her. She has even made certain jabs at Lindsay, though like Bryton, she has supported Manson despite everything. For the past few weeks, however, both Kelly and Bryton have become a little more aggressive in their bullying, though they have done it in a way that has been somewhat discreet to those unaware of the situation. Bryton in recent days also claims to have made more of a discovery of Lindsay's actions against her, which is completely baseless, to the point where today she even wrote Lindsay's sister Ashley, warning her about her own twin sister Lindsay. Along with this, she decided to remove her support for Marilyn Manson because of this, and in solidarity, Kelly from Justice for Marilyn Manson has also decided to withdraw her support. Oh no, 2 fallen soldiers here. Sorry for the long message, but I thought it was necessary to tell, despite it being in all actuality a short summary. Oh boy. All I can say in conclusion is that everything I have written above does not take away all the evidence from the iPad Bryton provided on behalf of Manson's case. It is still and will always be part of the evidence. These are my thoughts on the matter and in no way should be taken as me speaking for Lindsay or Manson. Okay. Dog. I felt it was necessary to share in light of the many messages I received asking for what is going on. Did we forget about this line where you admitted that you would step in to speak on their behalf? And now you're relaying information from when you did speak on their behalf? Don't fight me, bro. I'm just getting you on a technicality. Anyways, I found out about those posts through Colonel Kurtz because she has signal boosted it through like a quote tweet or something. And I made a reply, which she deleted her original tweet. So now it looks like I'm just replying to the void, but I said to her, only a matter of time before something like this occurs with Ashley Smithline, and I think you know it, yet you keep using her as the prominent talking point in Manson's defense. I say this because although Ashley Smithline did recant her allegations against Marilyn Manson, the way she did it made no sense. She lied and lied and lied some more, then asked for drugs and became British? Bruh.
I mean, I have a proper fucking like Shoreditch Hackney accent, so
Done. Please, anytime you want to come back and correct things, if something else comes out or we need to do it, you're always welcome here. I appreciate
You
you, or
need
you can come out to
anytime.
nerd out with us.
and
You're
again,
welcome
if
back.
anyone wants to send me ketamine, I'll send you my address.
But it's okay because over here in the pro Marilyn Manson camp, we turn the blind eye to sussy things that may make us look bad until things go terribly wrong and we simply can't ignore it anymore. That's why I made my tweet. Anyways, I got a reply to this tweet, not from Kurtz, but from another pro Marilyn Manson account. And it was the weirdest thing because it used to show it to me, but now it doesn't. As you can see, there's a little bubble there. Shows I got a comment. So I had to go search and find it on an alternate account because I was blocked. Let's find out why. They said, yeah, because that changed the iPad evidence that has so long been imaged. Ha ha ha, get real, Edwin. Think for a change and stop lying in your Instagram stories about me not wanting to talk to you when I said I would, you untrustworthy hack. Alright, so a lot of hostility here, but it didn't even end there. Have a good night. This will be my last conversation with you. Okay, first of all, I wasn't even talking to them. It was a reply to Colonel Kurtz. To point out the obvious contradiction though, they said that I lied about them not wanting to talk to me, even though they said that they would. And then they follow up by saying, this was the last conversation with me, even though it's not a conversation. Bro, that's like a double contradiction. But for the record, I didn't lie about them not wanting to talk to me. This is like a really cringe one-sided fight though, I have to say. To give the quick backstory, I contacted this account months ago, I think back in like February or March, just to have a curious conversation. And they had agreed and then they stopped contacting. So I did assume that they didn't want to talk, but I never named or said that they didn't want to talk or anything like that. Let me see if I can find a receipt real quick. All right, Instagram, come through, show me the old story. Okay, I found the story. Instagram doesn't let me open it, so I can't make it big, but I can read. It says, I sincerely don't understand how people use Ashley as Manson's star witness. I contacted Ashley and I don't think she even knows why. I've also been in contact with two of Marilyn Manson's super supporters. I was referencing Kurtz and this account. And they have no interest in talking about her despite continuing to use her as a chip against Evan, lol, ... First of all, I think it's crazy that you're using that tweet of mine as an opportunity to reply to something that's been bothering you from an Instagram story from March 18th. That is wild, right? But second of all, how did I lie when I said that two accounts had no interest in discussing Ashley Smithline? I'm sorry, but when you don't reply to, like, I double emailed you, right? And I hate doing that. I hate double texting. I hate double emailing you, but you didn't reply. I said you had no interest. If someone doesn't reply to two emails in a row, that tells me they have no interest. You know, you still didn't reply, even to this day. So you're saying that I lied and I'm an untrustworthy hack? Girl, chill, because it's a little cringe that you got so angry and instead of actually having a conversation, you got all mad, right? Over my reply to Kurt's deleted tweet, bro. Anyways, then an anti-Marilyn Manson account stepped in to own the pro-Marilyn Manson account with receipts, bro. Now, okay, I'm not actually going through. They had a huge long back and forth, and that's not what this video is about. It was entertaining, but not quite relevant. And there's one last thing I have to show you in regards to this whole story, and that is Bryton's response. And she says, Marilyn Manson, through his wife, manipulates small creators, seen below, using flattery and shared interest to build false attachments. They engage just enough to gain trust, but ultimately for influence and to control the narrative. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's a good get, girl. Promise of hope and attention to keep them strung along. She continued saying, once the creator is emotionally involved enough to believe they have a unique relationship with a couple, they create niche content like this no one understands. Okay, so I think they're trying to say, once this person that runs this account feels like they're close enough to Manson and his wife, they create this content that no one understands. Which, okay, that's a funny little diss, because again, unless you're in the Marilyn Manson heavy deep community, right? I feel like most Marilyn Manson regular fans still probably would not understand most of this. Yeah, it's a little confusing. So that's a funny little diss. John, I'm assuming that's the person that runs the account, doesn't seem to notice that this wall of text only makes sense to a niche group and not to the outside world. Right, basically what I was just saying. Told John directly, my art was dubbed Serial Killer Core. I have the DM where he pleads with me to forgive Melissa and Lindsay considered herself my best friend. Okay, so I'm not sure what the art part is about, but I guess she's kind of saying that Melissa was wanting forgiveness from her, whereas earlier in the video, we saw Colonel Kurtz say that it was, I guess, the other way around, that Melissa friendship broke up with Bryton. And of course, Lindsay, which she means Lindsay with an N, right? I don't know why she spells it with an M. I don't know if that's on purpose or an accident, but I guess she's saying that Marilyn Manson's wife considered herself Bryton. You have to release that DM if that's true, because what? Marilyn Manson's wife's best friend at some point in time was Bryton Gore, the sister of the woman that Marilyn Manson is suing? And she ended the tweet saying, my kids aren't young, they do work experience, which I'm taking a guess that means that they're not children. They're, I guess, grown-ups? Maybe making the claim that Manson's wife extracting information out of them isn't necessarily as creepy as it could seem because they're grown-ups. I don't know, man. Also, Lindsay accused me of being in love with her husband, to which I replied, I'm not in love with your husband. Fine, keep your fucking narrative. I'll never stop being myself. And came up with platform bending. Also have those texts. Listen, I feel like even if you explain this, it might not fully make sense. So these texts in particular, I don't know that I'm gonna yell release those, because She also made these tweets which seem to be about the situation since they came right after Colonel Kurtz's video. And she says that I may have put spyware on your phone and encouraged everyone to hate you, but I'm the victim. I guess seemingly mocking Manson? Because that's what Kurtz seemed to have said earlier, that she was saying that Manson put spyware on her phone. Wow, I'm a rich guy who's entitled to spy on people. I'm the one who's really hurting. Sorry guys, I hate rich people who think they can get away with doing whatever they want. Brothers, I already smeared myself. She also said her device is confirmed by forensics to have advanced spyware on it. I want to know about that too. Oh Lord, you know I openly admit I'm crazy. I smeared myself. Who does that? Almost like I have nothing to hide. So dramatic, so emotional, so triggered. There's a lot to dissect and honestly just process from everything that I've just gone through. From Kurtz's video, from the long ass Instagram story, to the tweets we just read from Bryton, right? Because honestly, even from what I just read, sure, it could be easy to dismiss her and be like, yeah, oh no, she's crazy. Sure. But even crazy can have some validity to it, right? You can't invalidate everything they say. I mean, she says she has texts and DMs from Marilyn Manson's wife. What's that about, right? Like, I feel like there are so many Marilyn Manson supporters and not a lot of interest from people that are anti-Marilyn Manson enough to push back, right? So hopefully, I feel like they deserve a little bit pushback. And the one thing I gotta say that I do appreciate about Colonel Kurtz, again, I hope my intro didn't sound like I was trying to be condescending, okay? I was being a little facetious about winning debate. It wasn't supposed to be a debate, the conversation we had a couple years back. I do appreciate that she does have some integrity, and I think she does appreciate the pushback. So I'm curious about this whole story. What the hell is going on? If she's actually crazy, Bryton Gore, right? Then I think that we deserve the evidence that you've been holding on for the past year or so. And where does this leave everything else, right? And Bryton, if you're not as crazy in that way, then I'm willing to listen to what they're talking about. All right, hopefully I could make this an enjoyable video, even if you're not into the Marilyn Manson stuff, because this is such a side quest, right? So if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you leave me a comment with your thoughts below. All right, see you guys soon. Peace out.